welcome back to the Get Fit for a Purpose podcast. Today, I want to talk about eating out without derailing your weight loss efforts. Because yes, it is totally possible to enjoy a meal out and stick to your goals. In fact, I would argue it's really important for you to do this and normalise eating out as part of your healthy lifestyle, because you do not want to put your life on hold whilst looking after yourself. I've also had a few questions recently from followers, and that's partly what's triggered this episode, but they're fairly typical questions of the ones that I get asked on this topic. So I'll go through some of those later in the episode. So let's start. Let's look at how eating out can absolutely be worked into a healthy lifestyle. Dining out is inevitable, and it should be. It's a lovely part of life. So socialising, celebrating with friends and family, it's one of those joys of life. So when it comes to living a healthy life, the key is always going to be about finding the right balance and making some informed choices. So first off, before you step out towards that restaurant, make sure you have a look at the menu online if that's at all possible. For most restaurants these days it is. And that way you can plan what it is you're going to order, plan what you're going to have, make some decisions that fit in with your goals without the pressure of making a decision on the spot. The next thing I'd suggest is for you to try your absolute best to not walk into any restaurant where you're feeling extremely hungry. If you can, have a healthy snack an hour or two beforehand to help you avoid over-ordering or choosing high-calorie options because you're overly hungry. It's a bit like going food shopping when you're hungry. It's so easy to make poor decisions. When it comes to ordering your food, look on the menu for grilled, baked or steamed options. So those cooking methods generally will indicate a healthier choice. And don't be shy about asking for substitutions. Ask for some more vegetables instead of chips, maybe a baked potato instead of chips. Never be worried about doing that. We all know restaurant portions can be generous, often more generous than you would ever dream of serving at home. And I don't know about you, but I rarely have 3 courses when I'm eating at home. So I would consider sharing a main or asking for a half portion, maybe even having a starter as a main course. I've definitely done that before. If there's something, especially if there's something I particularly fancy on the menu that's only as a starter, I'll ask for it to be served as a main course. And remember, you don't have to eat everything on your plate. Despite what your parents will have told you as a child, it is not required for you to clear your plate. It's absolutely okay to leave something behind if you're not hungry. It's also really important to remember that one meal out is not going to ruin your progress. Yes, it may kick up the scale weight in the morning after, of course, but remember that's not going to be fat. That's just going to be food in transit. It might be water retention, especially if you've had a salty meal. You absolutely will see the scales go up. So if you put on 3 pounds overnight, just remember it is not fat. It can't be fat. It won't be fat. That extra weight, the water weight, the food in transit will naturally flush itself out of your body over time. Of losing weight, it's always what you do consistently over time. And by that I mean weeks and months that counts. So please don't worry about that one meal out. And please don't let meal choices stress you out. It's counterproductive. Focus on the big picture, enjoying life and maintaining a sustainable approach to weight loss, because that's the mindset that means you are much more likely to stick to a healthier eating pattern. Because worrying too much about every single meal choice really can be counterproductive. That stress can trigger cravings and in some cases overeating. So focus on the big picture and absolutely get your head around being okay with meals out, because it absolutely is. So I have 2 or 3 questions from some followers that I thought would be helpful to cover off on here. And the first is from Emma, and she asks, how do I deal with the pressure to order like everyone else when eating out? And by that, I'm assuming chips with everything, 3 courses, yada yada. Firstly, I'd suggest just be confident in your choices. It's okay to order differently. Do what you want to do. So if you're making choices that support your health and your goals, just do it. In reality, most people are too focused on what they want and their own meals to notice. So just crack on. And when you can, maybe suggest restaurants that you go to with your friends or family that you know actually have some healthier options that work for you on the menu, because that gives you an element of control without making too much of a fuss. Another great question from another follower was, I find it really hard to resist dessert when anyone else is indulging. Have you got any tips? So my normal approach is to skip starters and go for dessert or share a dessert. And my friends know that I have a sweet tooth. So this doesn't faze them. It's not unusual. It's what I do. And in truth, probably about 50% of the time, I actually don't have room for a dessert in the end anyway. But either way, if I know I have a sweet tooth, then I acknowledge that and I don't try and change who I am. I just say, right, I just need to make some choices here. And that is, I don't have starter, main and dessert. I just skip the starter. That's one thing that I do. The other thing to think about is that loads of restaurants offer fruit-based desserts. So you could look for a healthy option on the menu. Remember how I suggested earlier in the episode that you try and look at the menu before you go to the restaurant. So again, forewarned is forearmed. You can use that knowledge and plan what you're going to have. Choosing one of those fruit-based or lighter desserts can satisfy your craving for something sweet without you going overboard. The other thing, and I do this quite a lot, is I share, normally with my husband. We have had fork fights before over desserts, but it works. We both have sweet tooths. So we both get to enjoy a taste of dessert without feeling like we've overdone it. The other thing I sometimes do, and I find works for me, is restaurants often give you a chocolate or a mint with a coffee at the end of the meal or with a bill. And if you're craving something sweet at the end of a meal, that could be enough to take the edge off, especially if you've had a big main course. You're not necessarily hungry, you're just feeling the need to have something sweet at the end of the meal. So just remember, going out for meals while sticking to your health goals is actually just about finding strategies, finding a plan, finding something that works for you. Yes, you are probably going to have to compromise on the choices you make, but if those choices are made because you want to live a healthier life, lose some weight, feel better about yourself, then that's a really positive decision that you're making. So it's about viewing those decisions, those choices, as compromises rather than sacrifices. Because the last thing you want to do is go out and resent the fact, oh, I can't have this and I can't have that. It's about taking a positive approach, remembering why you're doing it, and make those healthy decisions and informed decisions so you can go out, you can have the social side of that eating out, you can enjoy the food and still stick to your goals. The final question I had was from Tara, and her question was, how do you handle the pressure to drink alcohol at social gatherings, especially when you're trying to lose weight? I have this a lot because my friends drink a lot. So I will share with you things that I do. First, I've got a go-to low-calorie drink. So that's a drink that's lower in calories, but still enjoyable. So for me, sparkling water with a slice of lemon and lime, or a lime and soda, that's refreshing. It's got no alcohol in it. It's quite low in calories. So if I turn up to a restaurant or bar and haven't had any water or anything for the last hour or so, then I'll automatically ask for a large soft drink like a lime and soda, because I know in those circumstances I'm naturally going to drink that first drink more quickly than probably the rest of the drinks I'll have that evening. And then once I've had that, or whilst I'm having that, I'll make the decision on what I'm drinking for the rest of the evening. So you can try and use that as a tactic to deflect a bit of pressure when you go into a restaurant. Actually, just say, I'm really thirsty. Can I grab a soft drink or a glass of water first whilst I decide what I'm going to have? It's a good distraction tactic. The other thing to do is to sip slowly. So if you then choose to go on and have an alcoholic drink, you're at a celebration or something, really be mindful about sipping it slowly. Put the glass down in between taking your sips and enjoy it at a leisurely pace. It's not a race. Just taking your time over your drink really, of course, can limit your intake. The other thing that I find works really well is alternating between alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks throughout the evening. So that just reduces your overall alcohol consumption and, of course, keeps you hydrated. I'll often have a gin and tonic, and everybody I drink with knows I like my gin drowned. in loads of extra tonic. I'll have that for one round. And then the next round, bearing in mind I've now got a much bigger drink than most people because I've had all of the extra tonic, the next drink I'll have, I'll say, oh, I'm still getting through this. Can you just get me a tonic to top me up? And there you go. I've now had probably three lots of tonic and one gin. Nobody's that bothered because I'm just getting through my drink more slowly than they are, and I'm still getting a part in the order. I'm still taking part in the evening. Asking for your drink to be made with more Wixer, as I mentioned, whether that's tonic water or soda, it reduces the calorie content of your drink quite a lot, and it doesn't draw attention to your choices. The other thing is to bring your own. So if you're attending a gathering at someone's home, going to a barbecue or whatever, if you take along a drink that fits in with your health goals, you've taken a level of stress out of your evening, looking for something on the drinks table that works for you. That ensures you've got your go-to option available that you will enjoy, and of course it supports your weight loss efforts. So if I'm going round to friends' houses, they will definitely have gin, they will definitely have tonic, they probably won't have slimline tonic water. So I'll take a litre or two of my own round there, and I say, oh no, I bought my own, it's fine, there we go, lovely, thank you. Or I just pop it on the table and make sure that when I top my own glass up, then that's what I'm using. The other thing I'd say is practice saying no with confidence. So sometimes, something you might need to add it with, look, I'm focusing on my health right now, or I'm taking it easy tonight, or I've got big plans tomorrow morning, I really need to be on top of my game, or I've got a big meeting in the morning. Most people will respect personal health goals or other commitments that you've got. And the last little thing I'd say is you could always offer to be the designated driver. So if you offer to drive, that not only gives you a solid reason to absolutely skip drinking alcohol, it's also normally something that's a really highly valued gesture among friends and family. So people see you as having made a sacrifice, but actually all that you're doing is making a choice that's aligning with your goals and what you want to do that evening. So that's like a win-win for everybody if you drive, if that fits in with the evening you've got planned. So dealing with social pressures, especially around drinking, I get it. It can be challenging. But remember, your choices are all about your health and your well-being. And it's perfectly okay to celebrate and socialise without alcohol if you want to. So to finish today, the goal of living a healthier lifestyle is to find some balance. You need to be able to enjoy life while making choices that support your health and your well-being. Eating out doesn't have to be and absolutely should not be a source of stress. With a bit of planning, a little bit of education and the right mindset, you absolutely can navigate any menu and still have a fab time. I hope you found it useful. If you've got a topic you want me to cover in the future or a question that you really want to get answered, drop me a message on Instagram. You can find me at Fit for a Purpose UK. I'm always happy to help. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next episode.